This one truth is foundational. Organizations don't create value, people create value. So if we ever want to increase organizational value, we have to increase people value. And when it comes to people, you really only have three primary levers. There's time, there's talent, and there's energy. When it comes to energy, what do we do? What does your organization do to measure, to understand, and to optimize for the energy lying latent in your organization? This is the missing foundation of people performance. When it comes to time, we have done a lot to optimize time. We try to increase time at work. We try to reduce time wasted while at work. We try to focus on tools and processes and procedures and technologies, all designed to increase productivity by using time as efficiently as possible. Talent matters too, and there are a lot of solutions available when it comes to talent. We work to recruit and hire top talent, believing that will drive performance and increase organizational value. We work to train that talent through learning and professional development. We reward and recognize the output of that talent to incentivize more output. And talent is critical. It produces results. It improves outcomes. It matters. As we look at the landscape of performance and we dial in on what leads to peak performance, we tend to focus almost exclusively on the levers of time and talent. But in fact, if we want to really understand performance, we have to go deeper. Because the reality is, it's what's under the waterline that actually matters most, and that's energy. Energy is what creates the emotional mass that drives up the impact of our time and our talent. Energy is where your motivation lives. It's the desire you have to do that work. It's the emotion you feel about the work you do. It's the enthusiasm you feel about that work and the passion you have for it. Energy is represented as what's below the surface, because usually we fail to look there, mostly because we just don't know how. We lack the tools, the training, and the experience to know how to know what's happening beneath the waterline. But to really solve for energy, we simply have to look there. We have to go deep. Because when it comes to performance of time, talent, and energy, energy matters most. Most of us get this intuitively, based on personal experience. For instance, imagine you have two people. One person has unlimited time, unlimited talent, but doesn't care at all about the work that you're asking them to do. Now take another person who has limited time, limited talent, but endless desire, emotion, enthusiasm, and passion to do that work. Which one are you going to bet on? It's the latter, right? Think of energy, especially at the individual level, as a form of emotional capital. It's the most important capital in our organizations, and yet it's often the area we focus on the least. It's the thing we least understand, and it's the thing that we're least prepared to invest in. It's the thing that matters most, and yet we have no optics there. We rarely get energy management right, and because we don't get it right, we often get it wrong. In fact, here's what usually happens. We hire for talent, right? We interview, we have processes, we try to carefully vet and hire the top talent. Now that they're on board, we give them time and we expect performance. And what we usually find is that they don't always perform, at least at the level we anticipated based on all the care we took in our choosing them to join our team in the first place. Because when we interview someone, This is when they're full of energy. They're emotionally all in on convincing you they're the right person. And for a little while, they are in what we call peak engagement. They are still at maximum energy for what lies ahead. But that energy rarely lasts. At some point, their energy towards the work they do, or the team they're on, or the boss they work for, or whatever it is, it begins to fade. This is inevitable. This is the emotional architecture of every journey. And as soon as their energy starts to fade, their performance relies more and more on efficiently engaging the levers of time and talent. Usually, that's just not enough to make up for their fading energy. This all adds up to a performance gap. And of course, we can't have that, so we try to fix it. And how do we fix it? We give them more time. Or we try to help them better use their time. Or we provide tools to increase productivity. But it's not a time problem. Or we try to fix it with talent. We try to train them and give them access to learning. But it's not a talent problem. Ultimately, or at least all too often, we conclude the problem is the talent themselves. And so we let them go. And that just starts the entire churn cycle all over again. We need the organizational ability to accurately identify when the performance gap is an energy problem so that we can actually solve for it. Research shows that a disengaged employee is only producing about 20% of their total performance capacity. That's the performance gap. And it isn't about time or talent, it's about energy. What's more, research shows that up to 80% of your workforce is to some degree disengaged, not energized enough to contribute at peak. Think of that. 80% of your workforce doing 20% of the work they're capable of, and all because of an energy problem. And yet, it remains the single thing organizations today are least prepared to solve for, to measure and manage. We know that what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets improved. So the first thing we have to do is learn how to measure it, to measure energy. And secondly, we have to learn how to manage it. Put simply, learning how to solve for energy is how you put the force of work back into the workforce.